devoid of it. A flat square in projected space, undotted. It sits there simmering, shimmering, casting light, and invites you into its realm, where monks clad in nanobot exosuits sip medicated elixirs. Ancient demigods lace fiber optics into their retinas. Tamer goddesses download fabrics and flight plans into their cerebrum and plug into a Conbrios ADS 200 synthesizer under the cover of sunburnt skies. Let the light in. Absorb its radiant lines. Absorb its radiant lines that lash out of the system. Let the light lines into your skin. There is no sunscreen, no aloe for it. Make dark the Stargate until you see spots, until microscopic gremlins bash at your tapetum lucidum, until you are absorbed, until your DNA is digitized, fractalized. Deadlines are a death trap. A number etched onto nerve endings, prickly things that pinch and tear and gnaw. You hear flutes, smell the cave burst aroma of toast and brimstone. You see words on paper that look like kanji, just spirals, calories, runes. They don't really mean anything because they're fighting numbers. They're trying to leap against toxic wind, riding on fumes with metallic aftertaste. They're tapping tongues to spore and terraform a nuclear white hot flame. And so he rose from slumber, fell into this. Birds flew above him, rustling the trees. A single feather, bright and illuminated, fell to the darkening jungle floor. The brush seemed to melt away as it made its descent. He picked it up with a gloved hand and turned it over. It's lightly slowing. It's dimming. He could see the dust particles around it crackle, move in asymmetric patterns, but then dart away and up into the air, trailing their light. With his strange skin came some heightened senses. Though they were nearly imperceptible, he could see that the dust particles were alive, that they were wispy-bodied creatures swirling around each other, their constant, naked motion vibrating luminescence. The vegetation was green, red, purple, blue, softer, more inviting than the jungle crew. In the center was a fountain. He went to look into the water, but two of the women stood in front of him. They stood there on the path, their spears crossed. He could see over their shoulders that the fountain roared like a foaming sea, its waves turning over rapidly. Then the localized sky around it graying into a storm. The storm threatened to jump out of the fountain itself. They screeched at him and pointed with their spears towards the edge of the clearing. And they retreated into the jungle, their lights fading as they descended. He pushed through branch and stepped onto what felt like sand. He held some in his hand, tiny granules like prisms refracting light into spectrum rolled over his palm. This sand stretched for what seemed like miles, and so he walked. Past structures that appeared as strange as cigarettes. Large faces carved out of crystal and stone, draped with cobwebs, slung with rust. Past ponds and an embankment when large. Past floating neon cubes surrounding a giant humanoid But the deadline hangs like a glass branch, poised against a brassy sky. It hangs by a hashtag on a timeline, shared and reblogged, and this is perfect for you. Oh my God. The deadline is a living, quickly dying number, a movement, a constant. It doesn't care about the times you sink into your bed in broad daylight, covered in a quilt cloud, imagining that you're fortified by sad music while you swim in depression. The number smiles wide. Its nasty demon's teeth with grease-caked gums wrapped around a stargate. Tentacles like some shit out of H.R. Geiger's trash can, slimy with mucus. Put your hand in the light. Let those tentacle teeth fuck up your whole arm to the nub. Let them rip out your ulna. Let that barbed tongue lap you up to the elbow in viral saliva. See, the number guards the gate. Doesn't care if you miss your bus. If SEPTA's not taking paper transfers as of August 23rd. If it's 95 degrees outside, you melt. The number doesn't care. How many times you folded your partner's wheelchair, how your account is overdrawn, how you're malnourished and coasting on Krispy Kreme and refillable mellow yellow. Come into the shrinking light. Let the number lead you. The number, the deadline. It's a death cult too. Everybody's doing it. Is there another world outside of this? Is the only path through Stargate? Is there human touch beyond the abyss? What have you missed so far? You are not the message. You are not the movement. You are the wire. You are not a quota. You are not what you signed up for. You are the pin itself. You are not the number. You are not the deadline. You are the Stargate, a portal, a vortex.